Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Matt with the DPI podcast. Thanks for joining us. Tonight is April the 21st, 2025. And we're here again, live, giving you the best breakdown of Disney news you can get anywhere on the internet right now. And if you don't believe me, go over and watch some of the other ones and, watch them tell you that, hey, they've got news about Villains Land and it's going to be open in 2029, and they are absolutely full of stuff. So that's been our fun this week. But yeah, new week, big drop today from Disney. We're going to go over it. And really the big drop is more of I think this is how they're going to try and compete with Epic Universe type drop. We've talked about it the last few weeks, kind of what is that response to the opening of Epic Universe and how far behind the 8 ball Disney really is when it comes to what Universal is doing in Florida compared to what they have done over the last, let's say, 10 years, and they're going to, your Disney diehards are going to bring up, hey, we added, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, we added Toy Story Land. You extend that out just a hair farther, you had the new Fantasyland expansion at the Magic Kingdom. Universal's opening a new park. A new park is a big deal, and you need a direct response. And so far, the direct response hasn't been good from Disney. And it continues to be even more comical with what they did today. So we'll get to that here in a little bit. First off, I want to thank you guys all for the support on the channel. Again, you guys are fantastic. And we wouldn't be able to do this without your support. But yeah, we are to 926 subscribers over on the YouTube side. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please think about it. We do a lot of content as far as the news goes, but when we go to travel to parks, we're always refreshing content, whether it be new shows, whether it be new, technology on rides, that kind of stuff. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Hey, Lily, how you doing? Thanks for joining us over on Twitch. But we do a lot of evergreen content as well, and one of the videos that has been just taking off is the Happily Ever After video that we took last June. Definitely one of my favorite videos to tape and to edit and to get up on the channel. It's up to 219,000 views right now, so absolutely awesome to see that thing taking off, and I appreciate all the support. But support comes from subscribers, and this week we had 4 people make themselves public over on the subscription list, and we're going to start with Brooke Anna Reed. Thank you for the subscription. Stephanie Lee, thank you for the subscription. Travis Jones, thank you for the subscription. And Thomas User 19, thank you for the subscription. Very much appreciate all you guys jumping on the channel, hitting that subscribe button, whether you hit the bell or not. Right now, it doesn't much matter to me, but that bell will notify you when we do go live, when we do post new content, all those types of things. So definitely something to think about if you are hitting that subscribe button anyway. But, yeah. Really appreciate all your guys' support. Thank you for joining the channel. If there's anything that we can do for you, whether it's a question about travel to Disney, whether it's a content request, hey, maybe your favorite ride isn't on our channel yet. Let us know. We'll go down, we'll tape it, we'll put it up. We have had really good luck with taping everything except for Pirates of the Caribbean. I've taped it 15 times. Can't get a good one. Can't get one that I like yet. And I'm kind of a stickler on quality now, so that's kind of where we're at with Pirates. But yeah, so again, thank you guys all for your support on the channel. Again, very much appreciate it. Already got viewers and likes over on the YouTube side tonight, and we've got some commentary coming from the Twitch side. Yeah. So we've got a lot going on when it comes to Disney news. I'm going to go ahead and lead with the big story, just because I think there's a lot to kind of unpack with this, and I want to give it the time it deserves tonight. And if I kind of start waxing poetic, I want to make sure I'm doing that on this topic because it is so important. So usually on a year-to-year basis, when Disney announces that packages are going to go on sale, they give travel agents anywhere from a couple weeks to a month to kind of prepare for new bookings. You know, so usually sometime May, June, you see those bookings open up for the next year. And basically what that does is it basically will open up like the first 10 months. They'll open it up until about the time Halloween-ish, you know, mid-October. And then they'll do the Christmas season later. Christmas season usually starts about the beginning of November, first week in November, so they have the changeover. It's usually about a day and a half from Halloween to Christmas, and then usually the first Christmas party is first week in November, November 7th, 9th, in that time frame. Lily creates custom artwork for streamers and content creators at reasonable prices. Do any of you guys want to see any of her work? If you do, go over to the Twitch chat, Matt_DPI, and let Lily William 123 know. Lily, we handle all of our own stuff right now, and we have a relatively simple logo. So as far as custom artwork goes, really not in the need for it right now, but if you want to throw something together with what you can find from our stuff and shoot me something, go for it. But getting back to kind of the trip planning process. So yeah, so normally travel agents will get about a month heads up on, hey, new travel packages are coming out. Here's kind of what they're looking at rate increase, but they're not going to give you all the details until really like the booking day. There might be like one headline like, hey, we're going to start out the year with this deal. But it's really not, you know, a huge deal other than the booking window has opened. Well, times are changing at Disney. And they are, it really feels like they are scared to death of Epic Universe. And I don't know that they need to be scared to death of Epic Universe. You know, we've talked about it multiple times. You know how you deal with this? You bring back Magical Express, you bring back Fast Passes. I think you bring back those two things and you level the ship right away. And if you want to offer a paid Fast Pass system, build it into your club level. You know, you had that plan in place right prior to COVID, and then it never materialized because COVID happened. So, I think you had the right idea, and you were going in the right direction, and I think that the brunt of the Epic Universe opening could have been averted if those two things wouldn't have gone to the wayside and become paid options for your travelers. But now that they're paid options, I think you are kind of nip and tuck when it comes to offerings on the theme park side in Orlando, Florida. Especially with the opening of Epic Universe. So Disney today drops that the booking window for 2026, at least through probably October, middle of November, opens tomorrow. Tomorrow. They are giving travel agents 1 day notice. Not even 1 day notice, because bookings will go live at like 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And they're dropping that kids are going to eat free all year. So if you book a package with a dining plan for the adults, your kids 10 and under, eating free. Under 10. Let's reword that. Under 10. So 3 to 9 basically is our window there. That 7 years from age 3 to age 9. For some people, that's a big deal. For some people, if you have a couple of kids and you're doing a dining plan anyway, that could be an extra, $60, $80 a day that you're saving if you're going to do the dining plan anyway. For a lot of people, like my family, doesn't affect. Like Peter's family that's on the show a lot, doesn't affect. So Disney has essentially picked winners and losers. Okay, so Disney as a park, we want to see it get back to, those base demographics. Okay, you're focusing on that, say 15 and under crowd, and then that 50 and over crowd. Well, when you're doing that, and you're focusing on those base demographics, you don't need these deals. Because the people that are coming to the parks are coming to the parks because you're focusing on the right demographics. If you look at everything that's going into the parks right now, they're going to refurb Dinosaur to Indiana Jones. My 10-year-old is iffy when it comes to Dinosaur. I wouldn't consider it necessarily a kid's ride. It's more of that tweener ride. A suspended coaster at Hollywood Studios. Now, are they getting a whole land? Yeah. Are we going to get a second ride? Probably not. Are they going to bring over Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor? Probably. But it's a tit for tat. You lose Muppets 3D there. You gain Laugh Floor. It's not a net gain of anything. Come over to Magic Kingdom, a Villain's Land. Villain's Land isn't going to be targeted at your kid demographic. You're getting a Cars ride. The Cars ride could be targeted at your kid demographic, depending on the intensity. And by the looks of it, it may be a little more intense than Radiator Springs Racers. So where's that going to put it on that scale? So you are really starting to try and add rides that miss your demographic. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all. So, it's that splitting up of the family that I think has been the big downfall of Disney over the last, couple of editions. You look at Tron. Tron's a ride that not everybody can ride. Guardians is a ride that not everybody can ride. Moana, the Journey of Water walkthrough thing, is perfect. It keeps the family together. You go through it. It is that is a really, really good Disney attraction. Now, are Tron and Guardians good rides? Yeah, they are. They are. For 100% they are. And would I put a kid on Flight of Passage? Probably not. And I think that was kind of the first ride that started Disney down this path. Because I think Everest is a good introduction coaster. So that doesn't bother me. I think that Seven Dwarfs Mine Train does the same thing. Doesn't bother me. Under the Sea Journey with Ariel is fine. You know, Navi River, fine. Motion Simulator, Rise of the Resistance, could be iffy in that high kid, the tween group. Simulator for Rise of the Resistance, as long as you don't have motion issues, kids are perfectly fine on it. So, you know, you've got this track record now from Pandora that we are starting to introduce rides at Disney that exclude people from riding instead of trying to be inclusive to as many riders as possible. You know, even rides like, you know, Splash Mountain and that kind of stuff have disability access. Now we're getting into the splitting of family a little bit, and I think that is more of a problem than anything, because Universal knows their demographic, and if anything, Universal is digging into Disney's demographic because they're taking movies, How to Train Your Dragon, and hitting that demographic where they are age-wise right now. And then that demographic is going to bring their kids back in 10 years. You know, we're looking at that 12 to 18-year-old right now that is the original How to Train Your Dragon fan. And not to mention that they're going to reinforce that fan base with a live action here soon. Look what Disney did to reinforce their fan base. They released Snow White. And how well did that do in the theaters? You're going to watch the live action How to Train Your Dragon just mop in theaters. Now, Disney does have a good film coming out. They do. In Lilo and Stitch. What market are they actually hitting with that? Is there a Lilo and Stitch ride at Walt Disney World? At Disneyland? No. There used to be a show, The Alien Encounter. Not there anymore. So you're going to reinforce a wildly popular meet and greet with a movie. And that's your response to... And not everything has to be a direct response, but when you look at the timing of it, that's going to be your response or your, you know, firing first to How to Train Your Dragon live action. Again, I think you're missing the point, Disney. I really think you're missing the boat on that one. But yeah, so packages for 2026 go on sale tomorrow. So if you're planning on traveling to Disney, usually the first month packages go on sale. It's some of the best pricing that you're going to get, even versus bounce backs until, you know, panic travel. And, you know, panic travel's a really real thing right now. I mean, and this is something I never thought I would see at Disney, but we've got a package that we're doing here in the near future. We wanted to do a Savannah View room at Animal Kingdom. We did it as a bounce back last year. We have it coming up. I priced it out against the deals that are going on right now. And with some of the deals that are going on right now, you can get really, really close to the pricing of what we're doing in the same hotel room. I mean, within a couple $100. Now, the one caveat to it was the pricing package that I used was the 3-day, 3-park ticket. And one of those days we would be going to Magic Kingdom instead of to Hollywood Studios. So that would have made a difference. We would have had to change the trip around a little bit and make Magic Kingdom our last day that we add on. But, I mean, to be able to come that close, within 60 days of a trip is kind of crazy. This is when if you want to travel and you're like, oh, I'd love to go to Disney when the kids get out of school, it's really hard to find rooms. Right now, it's not. Right now, I can go on, unless we're looking at something like super specialty, like a treehouse or a Polynesian village bungalow or something ridiculous like that. More than likely, we can go online and we can book a trip anywhere that you want to any hotel that you want 60 days out right now. And on top of that, I can probably get you any restaurant that you want 60 days out right now, or less than 60 days out right now, because travel's really down. Travel to Disney is really down. And I think you're going to see that through the summer. This summer seems to be a really, really good time to travel to Disney. If you miss cheer tournaments and baseball tournaments and all that kind of stuff, I think you're in really good shape. I think that you're going to have a very enjoyable experience if you go to Disney this summer. Now, with that being said, next year, what do we have coming up next year for vacation packages to Disney? So you're gonna have the kids eat free. So 100%. If you've got kids, and you want to do a dining package anyway, definitely a good way to book. 100%. So on top of that, you're going to get early entry to the theme parks. So you get that extra half hour every park, every day, if you're staying at a Disney resort or a Good Neighbor resort. Complimentary transportation, free parking, early access to dining reservations, and other perks. So, complimentary transportation, you got the buses, you got the boats, you got all that kind of stuff. They're not bringing back Magical Express right now. I think, I didn't even think about this last week, but I think that could be something that they announce at D23. I really do. I think you need to watch the contracts. It's a different water bottle. I forget it has a straw. But yeah, I think you could really see that being the big announcement at D23 this year, is the return of Magical Express. And it might be a fast return. Like, D23's the end of August. I could see them saying, after Labor Day, Magical Express comes back. You want to see a travel agent scramble? That's going to be chaos. Canceling Mears Connect, canceling Sunshine, the Sunshine Express, canceling the minivans and that kind of stuff, and moving everything over to Magical Express. But I think that would be a huge win for Disney. A huge win for Disney if they could get that back to a free service. Let a person's vacation begin when they leave their home airport. Do it. It gives you control of that consumer the whole time. It just makes sense. And if you're seeing that your usage rates aren't high enough, figure out how to make them higher. It's a marketing thing. Give a straight to park option. You know, we have a lot of people that would love to have dad go to the hotel and drop off the bags, and the rest of the family be able to go straight to Magic Kingdom or go straight to Epcot and start their vacations from the airport. Problem solved. There's how you get your ridership up. Do a straight to park service. Put 4 buses on the loop that are doing a park to park to park to park and back to the airport. A 5-stop and back to airport. You're not picking up from the parks, so it's just a drop and go. Problem solved, Disney. You can pay me later. Just private message me for my address. So the perks, early theme park, 30 minutes, every day, every park, not a big deal. I mean, in the end, it is what it is. Free standard parking at theme parks, hotels, and water parks. That's a pretty big deal. I like that. That actually might be something we use because we're driving down to the parks this year. Definitely we're going to use the free hotel parking, but to be able to, just drive to the water park or drive to the theme park might be an option for us, especially when you're talking about Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. Definitely might be an option. Early access to dining reservations and lightning lanes for your entire stay, as well as advanced access to purchase tickets for special events. Again, that's a relatively big deal. Basically what that does is if you book, say, for a not so scary, you're going to go to a not so scary and you book a week vacation, you're going to have 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 parties in that week that you can book. You get priority access to those. That helps out because the after hour parties do sell out. Now I'm interested to see, how does Not So Scary do this year? How does, Very Merry do this year? Those are things that are real indicators of kind of where the local guest is as far as commitment to the parks right now. I mean, you're going to have another park that's probably offering some form of Halloween entertainment. How does Disney cope with that? Free water parks on day of check-in, subject to availability. This is kind of an interesting one because there's a hack here, and this is a pro tip. I am going to say this is a pro tip. Pro tip here from DPI to our watchers, listeners, subscribers, whoever checks this out on shorts. There's a lot of different ways to check this out. Split stays. A lot of people think split stays are an absolute hassle when you do vacations because, you're having to pack up all your luggage and all this kind of stuff. I think split stays at Disney make a lot of sense. And the reason I think split stays at Disney make a lot of sense is 2 big reasons. A, luggage transfer from hotel to hotel. Disney does offer luggage transfer from their hotels to their hotels. So on our vacation, we are moving from Animal Kingdom to Pop Century, and we will have Disney take care of that luggage transfer. Also, the water park thing. When you do a split stay, when you make that transfer, that hotel change day isn't actually a check-in at your other hotel. So you can use the water park at that day. It makes a lot of sense. You're already down there. You're probably getting a later start with getting your luggage packed up and down to bell services anyway. Going to a water park makes a lot of sense. And I think that's going to be something that, it is a good way to take advantage of that benefit, is to look at utilizing a split stay. That way you're not in a huge hurry to get down there. That way you're not in a huge hurry to really get to the water park on your day of arrival. You can do it on the 4th or 5th day or the 3rd day of your trip. And it just makes a lot of sense. So this is off of the Disney Parks blog website. Get even more magic at your Disney resort. Whether taking a day off from the theme parks or simply want to relax at your hotel, there's no shortage of activities, all from the convenience of your hotel. There are a lot of things to do at the hotel. There are. 100% there are. But you cannot use this as one of your major perks. Does it separate you from Universal? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, if you're willing to stay at a deluxe resort and, pay that price anyway, you're not looking for the nickel and dime separation that a lot of people are right now. And I think that's where I think there's a lot of misconception when you're looking at Disney travelers. I look at the Disney traveler right now in two very separate and distinct groups. There are the people that are right now on the bubble of taking a big vacation. They're the regional travelers right now. The Midwesterners that are going to go to Dollywood instead of Disney because it's closer. The Midwesterners that are going to go to Kings Island or Cedar Point or something like that. I think that group right now is really looking at the difference. If they're going to go to Florida right now, they are looking at the difference between a value resort at Disney and a value resort at Universal. And saying, I'm probably getting a similar room at each one of those locations. And Universal right now is going to give me a little bit more on the new, fresh, exciting side. So I'm probably going to go to Universal. And I'm going to deal with the crowds a little bit. I'm going to deal with a little bit of the madness of a new park opening this summer. Because I know that I'm probably not going to be able to go down next year or the year after. I'm making that commitment this year for the next 4 years. And I think that traveler right now is really leaning Universal over Disney. And it's because of new. Could I go to Disney and see basically the same thing I saw the last time I went to Disney? Yeah, it depends on the last time you went. But more than likely, the parks are relatively similar to the last time that you went. For your, every 2 to 3 year travelers, not a lot has changed at the Disney parks. Now, in the next 2 to 3 years, are things going to change? Maybe. But right now, it's not that dramatically different. So you're looking at that change of scenery a little bit more, and we've got a movie by the pool. We're gonna watch Princess and the Frog by the pool tonight at your Disney resort. You don't have that extra time. You're not paying for that extra night to take advantage of those types of things. Now, the other group is the money doesn't mean a whole lot. We're going to do whatever we want, and we're probably staying moderate or above. We're taking some of those benefits. We probably have an off day in our trip anyway that we're going to go to Disney Springs and do stuff. And those things matter to those people. But a lot of the other stuff doesn't. It doesn't matter. So, all right. So I spent a majority of the show on that. So let's talk about a few other things that we're looking at from around the parks. Earth Day, Pixar Place, Hotel teased a video that Wall-E may be doing some personal encounters. If you've seen the animatronic Wall-E that rolls around, you know what I'm talking about. He might be at Pixar Place Hotel tomorrow. Definitely want to check out the social feeds if you're going to be around the Anaheim area tomorrow going to the parks. Star Wars Celebration is headed to Los Angeles in 2027. 50th anniversary of A New Hope will be in 2027, and this is going to be a huge deal. April 1st through 4th, 2027, the Star Wars Celebration. Really cool. They just ended it over in Japan over the weekend. Just lots of panels, lots of cool things for Star Wars fans to do and see and hear. So definitely worth checking out if you have the ability to do it when it comes to LA here in a couple of years. Paint the Night will run twice each night when it returns to Disneyland Park on May the 16th. Now remember, May the 16th is when Disneyland's 70th anniversary starts. And Paint the Night is one of the most fantastic parades that Disney has to offer. And it will be running twice each night at 8:45 and 10:45 p.m. Definitely as you get into the summer, 8:45 may still be a little bit of light, so I would hang around if you can till that 10:45 p.m. We're getting a first look at the test track vehicles. So an entire fleet of vehicles has been updated with new seats, paint, and wraps before the attraction opens later this summer. Still saying late summer. They've been running test vehicles pretty consistently. They're testing lighting packages pretty consistently right now. So I think this is something that could have like a mid-July open. You know, we're probably 60 days out right now, maybe a little bit more. So I would definitely think that we're late summer. To me says like late August into September. I really think this is going to be before the summer break crowd goes back to school, honestly. Imagineering prepares construction trailer compound for upcoming Frontierland renovation. This is not an expansion project. A lot of people are dubbing this an expansion project. They are taking things away. They are not expanding anywhere. The only expansion that they're doing is where they're putting the trailers. That's it. They're not adding any land. They're not adding any space to Magic Kingdom. They are taking away Rivers of America to put Cars Land in. Or not even a Cars Land. A Cars Ride in. So, but we've got permits now, so it's going to happen. We knew D23 was going to sell out. That wasn't a big deal. We aren't going to dwell on that. We talked about that last week. From the world of Disney, what have we seen from Shannon? Lots on the Disney Destiny. So Disney Destiny had its float out over the weekend, and we're getting a lot of information on some of the things that are coming there, including the Hercules show, a lot of the artwork, and all that kind of stuff that is going to be on the Disney Destiny. Now, remember, the Destiny is going to be your heroes and villains type ship, so you're going to have a huge Marvel presence on the show. You're going to have a huge villain presence on the show. The major show that's going to be in the theater is going to be a Hercules show. So you've got a lot going on there. Lots of updates coming from Disneyland Paris with the Adventure World refresh from their Studios park, and then everything that's going on with Arendelle and that path leading out to the town of Arendelle, or Arendelle, out there in Disneyland Paris. They've got a lot going on out there with that land opening up here really soon. Lots of new merch coming. It's Disney Skyliner ears that move. Destiny merch was released. They're talking about new paths on Epcot, all kinds of different stuff. So yeah, Disney Momentous, the new show at Disneyland Hong Kong for their 20th anniversary. We got a sneak peek at that and some of the technology that's going into that show. Another, projection mapping, fireworks, and drone show, and we know how good Disney has been with those over the past. So definitely something to check out there. We got our first listen of some new music for the Disney's Unhappily Ever After villain show. It's got a very Boo to You type feel to it, and I would hope it does. Honestly, that's what you would want from a show like this, is something that is very akin to a not so scary party. Getting the first permits for the Animal Kingdom, or not the Animal Kingdom, the Lion King ride at Disneyland Paris. And I'm sorry, Disneyland Paris, you kind of got the shaft on this one. And the reason I say that is where this Splash Mountain knockoff is gonna go. It is. Why is Magical Express such a big deal? Why is Magical Express such a big deal? Let's not hear that.
Disney is feeling the pain of not having control of the consumer when they get off the plane. When you have the ability to choose your transportation.
Mute you. If you haven't seen our shorts, check that out. That's pretty awesome. Wifey. Where is the stuff? There we go. Okay. Let's get back to what I was talking about here. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, Disneyland Paris getting the shaft. Okay, this is a good jumping off point here. Disneyland Paris, the original plan was a Frozen Land and a Galaxy's Edge in your Adventure World. It was Studios Park back then. And instead of getting a Galaxy's Edge, you are getting a Splash Mountain knockoff that is going to be themed to The Lion King. So, you're welcome, I guess. Float out. Yeah, lots of Imagineering stuff from the Destiny. New rooms at Sequoia Lodge. We talked about that a little bit last week. The lobby for the Disney Destiny with the statues of Black Panther and others is going to be awesome. Small World at Disneyland isn't going to reopen this month like they thought. I really think that they are... Well, they're adding the new song at the end. It's the new verse. So that's cool that they're going to do that and honor the Shermans with that. But you got to get your rides back up. Disneyland Hong Kong, new parade. Parade looks fantastic. They gave a look at one of the floats, or a couple of the floats, in the preview show. They are unbelievable. Definitely something to check out there. Baby Giraffe is out at Animal Kingdom now. If you want to check that out. Disney Theater World Premiere. Otters, baby otters are at the Otter Grotto. Yes, I said it, Shan. The Otter Grotto at Animal Kingdom. Biscuit and his siblings are meeting guests out there. There's no experience. Don't take it out of context. You can go see the baby otters, though. Disney Plus. If you didn't listen to the show last week or a couple weeks ago, you got to go back and listen to me talk about this Disney Plus subscribers deal. This deal is unreal for some of the resorts. And there's still availability in a lot of the rooms that were available there. So, are made available for that deal. So definitely something that, again, if you want to travel this summer, with deals and everything like that, holy crow, there's a ton going on. Disney Destiny Minnie is going to have a superhero glow up and have her cape, which is not Edna Mode approved, but she is going to have her superhero costume, and you can meet her on the Destiny, Momentous, Black Panther statue, and kind of the end of the Star Wars celebration at Tokyo. So, no, lots. Like I said, I think there's always a lot of little things going on at Disney. They're constantly doing things. So, honestly, it's never really stagnant. But I feel like right now you're seeing a lot of the really cool stuff being overseas right now, and the stuff that's here in the States just being a direct response to what Universal's doing. And, you know, it's funny because, you know, I say this as Paris is putting in a Frozen area, a whole new land, a couple of rides. In the end, when it's done, when this expansion is done in Paris, at least this first phase of the expansion, there's going to be 5 new rides. That's a big deal. 5 new rides is a big deal. You know, Disneyland Forward, you know, in the initial plans, it looks like there's going to be 5 to 7 new rides in that. We're not getting a lot of information on Disneyland Forward right now. You know, they announced a Coco ride out there. Where's it going? You know, give us some information on that. But, yeah, so right now we've got bookings for 2026 tomorrow. So if you want to book a Disney vacation for 2026, definitely reach out to us over on Facebook at DPI Podcast, at PATM Disney Travel. Either one will work. Or at our website, patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. You can check us out in both of those locations. But as it goes for tonight's show, I'm going to call it quits. I've been talking for a while. So, you guys all have a wonderful week. I will talk to you next Monday. Bye now. Nobody came on the show. It was just me yapping for a long time. But we did talk about bookings for 2026. So check it out. If you're looking for us on social media, you can find us in a lot of different places. The easiest is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast for the show page, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel side. If you want to get into a conversation and you use the Twitter X at Disney Insights, you can also find us over on Instagram at Disney Planning Insights, on YouTube. Thank you guys all for watching, liking, subscribing, sharing,